Hello everyone, this is another art dump video. I like to do these every month just to have a look back at all the stuff that I've drawn over the past month. So we're at the June one. We're already halfway through the year, guys. See, I remember saying this last year when I did the June art dump last year. So yeah, and what I like to do at the beginning of each of these videos is just read a little comment that someone has left me. So, and people say the most lovely things, and it warms my heart. So that's how I'm gonna start this off. This is a little comment from Plushy Bros. These are super funny and adorable cartoon drawings you drew. The expressions on them are very cute, especially that super raccoon. She's so cute that I want to give a big hug to her. You did an excellent job on this, dude. Please keep up the great work. Yes, I was so happy to get that comment. I'm always really excited when people leave these really encouraging words. I do love to read those. I'm just going to go straight on to the main event. So here I am. I'm just going to talk about my art now, and we'll start with this one. I think in the previous video, I showed the original, the pre-sketch for this one. So as you can see, it's now finished. I actually completed it. Yeah, and the funny thing is, I actually remember because on my Instagram, I like to put a little preview up for people to show them, give them an idea of what stuff that I included in the latest art dump video. And I usually do that a week after I record these, and so in that time I managed to get this one done, and I forgot that I hadn't actually included it in the video because it wasn't ready at that particular time, and I put this up in the Instagram post, so I kind of gave it away. I showed people what it looked like through that, and yeah, that's the thing, because I don't record these right at the end of the month. I give myself about a week from recording to uploading, and yeah, for that reason there are certain things that I do get a little bit confused with some of them, but that doesn't matter. It's just a game show. It's not really based on anything. I just liked this idea. I had this image in my head and just thought I'd give it a shot, and yeah, and I think I talked about what references I used in the previous video. So if you want to find out more about how this idea came around, you can watch that one. And I think looking at it now, most of it looks pretty good. My little nitpicks would be the background mainly, because I wanted to put like the sort of string of lights around the edge of that stage. And yeah, I don't think they look very convincing personally. So I don't know if I needed to make them flatter, like squash them a bit more for the perspective. Because yeah, I don't think I got that quite right. Things like that, and the items in the background. I'm not 100% happy with how I did the colours, like the outlines and things like that. But I did a good enough job in getting the reflection right, so that's one thing. I'm gonna have to make sure I keep clicking on the thing. Anyway, okay, this character, she's from the Light Years Apart universe, and I'll just give a quick explanation for that for any newcomers. You can see some pictures in the background for all these videos that I do. And a lot of them are of my main OC, Ema. And the idea with Ema is she's like an alien cop, and I like to come up with lots of different characters that belong in the same universe. This character is called Grantha Bolt, and the idea for this character actually came when someone suggested that I come up with like an arch enemy for Ema, because Ema has to arrest a lot of people. And this could be a character that Ema has never successfully arrested. So I drew this character, and I found myself thinking I like the idea of her maybe being one of Ema's old friends, because before Ema was a cop, she was a very different type of person. And yeah, so I've been working on that. And in terms of the look for this character, I've given her hair, and most of the alien characters I've drawn have no hair. But this was just me thinking, because I think I'd drawn a lot of inspiration from other artists, and I noticed that some other cartoonists had done this sort of design, look like an alien with a hairdo, and I actually thought it's it's quite a nice idea. And I'm getting better at hairdos, because I think for the type of cartoon characters that I draw, there is a very specific type of shape you have to do, because I find that with a lot of my characters, it works quite well if you have that kind of it kind of slants outwards as it goes up. Like if you look at this side of her head, it's funny how the way I draw lines, that is changing a lot, because I am trying to take what I've learnt from other artists and do that. And I've no idea what that thing is she's holding. It's her weapon, and yeah, because I'm not very good at doing heavily detailed props and things. Like when it comes to weapons, I really don't know what I'm doing. So sometimes I just like to think, because this is just like the very first drawing I've done of this character, and I'm just putting the first ideas together, and it's just a rough idea of what the character is going to look like. But that is quite an interesting weapon, because as you can see, it's sort of electrified, and it's obviously very blunt as well. So this idea that she probably hits people with this thing and it also electrocutes them, that's probably not a lot of fun to the people who are being attacked. So yeah, she's quite brutal. She is a very, very bad girl. And here's a picture of Olba. And here's the thing, I've got a new tablet, and I'm trying to get used to using it because it feels really different to the old one that I had. So I just had to go at drawing Olba, because I was just randomly thinking of an OC to draw. And yeah, so I've been putting some little changes to the characters' uniforms. They all have these blue uniforms. They're supposed to be like futuristic police uniform. And yeah, I'm trying to make it look a bit more futuristic and a bit more police-like. So there have been some subtle changes recently that I've made, and so this was partly just to do that, and it's not perfect, but I like the proportions, because I think the idea that I want is that she has very slender arms. I didn't quite get them to match up. If you look, you can see that the one further away is a little bit wibbly wobbly. Not really. It's fatter than the other one, definitely. But I think the overall shape of this, I'm getting more into thinking about what the silhouette looks like, and that's a really useful way of making pictures really pop. So I really like this character. I like doing things with Olba. Not perfect. I have so many things that I can nitpick with that one, but I'm just going to move on. Oh yeah, I think this is another one where I showed the rough sketch in the last video, I'm quite sure. Because the thing is, I keep them all in the same folder, so whenever I make a new video, I can just refer back to the old folder and make sure that I'm not repeating myself. I did a really bad job with the shading on this one, like on the tail. I don't know how to shade tails. I've got to look that up. Because I think it might be worth doing more softer shading on those kind of bushy tails. So this character is Eve, and I came up with Eve about a year ago, and since then I've been trying to put her into more of my artwork, because I've not done an awful lot with her yet. there was one in the last video I did, so again you can check that out. And the reason that she's dressed as a spy in this one is because the idea of Eve is that she's like a comedian and she performs on a sketch comedy show. So I like this idea of drawing her playing different characters, because in the last video I did, I showed this superhero character that she does. So it's all part of the comedy series that she's on. So yeah, that's my drawing of Eve, and I think I am getting a bit better at drawing clothing, because that trench coat, it is, yeah. I think again I've been trying to think about the silhouette and how to, because you do want to sort of imply movement, which is it's not the easiest thing. But I think I'm seeing now, just by looking at this, I can kind of see how I can, for my future drawings, make it look a bit more real. I mean, this isn't so bad. There's an example there of putting some implied movement into like a cloth. Because I have an OC called Heart, and this is her sister, Soul. So it's like Heart and Soul, you see. Bit obvious. And this is the first time I've had a go at drawing this character, and I think I did well to make it look how I wanted her, because I had a vague idea of what she was going to look like, because these two characters look very alike because they're supposed to be related. But even when characters are related, you want to give them their own specific identity. You want to make them look, be able to tell them apart, basically. So and I kind of gave her the same armor as Heart. My door's creaking. I better close that. Sorry, I just thought I'd do that to save me. Otherwise there's going to be a really squeaky noise in the background. Her spear doesn't look too impressive, because I think I convinced myself that when I last drew a picture of Heart, she had a spear that was very much those same proportions. But that's the thing, if you try and be too accurate, sometimes you don't realise that something doesn't quite look right until it's too late. I mean, because I've drawn this as a very rigid spear, because the one that Heart was holding was quite bendy, because that seemed to work for the sort of action pose that I was working on. Excuse me. So I quite like the colour palette. I tried to make her hairstyle a little bit different to Heart's, and I was trying to be quite fancy with the eyes. You probably can't see. Shall I? No, I won't bother. But yeah, the eyes are kind of yellow and reddish, and I tried to go a bit of a different direction. This is something that I'm just gonna be tinkering about with forever, I think. I don't know when I'm gonna. I like her eyebrows, because I think I've given her different eyebrows to Heart. Those are very bold, very thick, heavy eyebrows, and I like how they look on this character. I think I'm getting better at drawing ears as well. Things I can work on, like foreshortening, is definitely a thing I need to work on. The way that her hand is, that kind of works, but it's really hard. It's hard to know how, like, when you do that exact type of pose, you've got to think about the forearm. You've got to think about how much of that do we actually need to see. Because the thing is, if you don't see any of the forearm, you have to be careful, because it might end up looking like you've got to make the hand really big in that, because that is how it hides the forearm. And it's really harder than it seems. Oh, so here's another picture of Eve, and the reason why this one looks really messy is because I was still waiting for my tablet to arrive, and I was because I traded in my old laptop with a new computer, and yes, I wasn't able to use that one. So my old tablet wasn't compatible, and so I ended up taking, because I can't remember if I showed you all the pre-sketch of this one, but I did it a while ago, and I decided that while I was waiting for my tablet, I would find that sketch and try and do like the inking and colouring digitally, and I just used my trackpad. So it's the lines are very bumpy, but it was quite a fun little challenge that I set myself, and I think it looks good considering. Like there is quite a bit of I'm thinking about having another go at some point, but I don't know if I will. I like how this pose came out. That took a few goes. I am finding that the fact that when I first draw something, it doesn't necessarily look right, and often it's the pose that I'm not quite getting. That's a sign that I should give it another go. Just keep repeating it. Repetition is a good way of learning and improving. So and I think a lot of these are really just last minute drawings that I did quite quickly, you see, because this one and the one of Olba I did really quickly because I just needed some more content. Because this month I was having a difficult time making sure that I had enough drawings for this video. Because normally I just use these videos to be like, okay, here's some of the work that I did do this month. So this video is more like, okay, I did a lot of these specifically for this. Because I've not been doing quite as much drawing as I usually do. This is Bale, another one of my alien cop characters, and I used a reference for this one. I was very good. It's always did I show the pre-sketch? Because I can't remember when I did the pre-sketch. I just remember that I did the next couple of stages really quickly. Didn't bother shading it. It is just practice, really. And again, it's the new uniform. I'm trying to get used to that. Get used to drawing that. And I like this pose. I found another drawing. It was one of Anastasia Berry's reference drawings. And I've been using a lot of hers because every time I look at her drawings, I just think, that one looks really good. I can totally do something with that, and it kind of sparks off an idea. And it was hard with the body proportions here because Bale is a lot, shall I say, wider than the reference that I was using. And so I sort of started off drawing the same body shape as the reference, and I sort of padded it out a bit more, and I did Bale's drawing over it. And Bale has, as you can see, she has 4 arms. She's meant to be like a sort of termite type of creature. And that's proving to be a little bit tricky, I suppose. I think because I do rush into doing the clothing and everything, you've really got to do. You got to draw your characters naked, basically. You got to draw them naked first, and then because once you've done that, then it becomes a bit more obvious what the clothing has to do, where it has to go, and because again, you want to put that sort of implied movement. But I mean, like the cop characters, they all have these rather tight jumpsuits, so you don't really need to make them flow so much. They're not really moving objects. Now, this character, this is one of Penmark's characters. I talked about Penmark in a previous. I think his real name's Josh, and because we did an art trade together recently, and I love his characters so much, his original characters. This character is called Brandy, and whenever he puts her in one of his little comics, I always really enjoy it. And yeah, I had an urge to have a go at drawing her. And when I drew it, I really wasn't that happy with it. So a lot of these I've not put online. I think I'm counting them mostly as practice drawings. But yeah, I mean, this isn't that bad actually. I think I did use a reference again, so I was good. I like the expression on this. I'm never that confident with eyes. I always feel like eyes are one of my weakest points, at least when I'm doing the line work. But yeah, I don't think it looks that bad looking at it now. I think her hoodie looks pretty good actually. I mean, that was one of the things I wasn't sure of when I was sure. It's funny, that doesn't happen very often when I draw something and I'm not that happy with it, but then later on when I come back to it, all of a sudden it seems slightly better. Because I don't really make a huge effort to make it look like one of my, like, to put it in my style. It is heavily built on the original, the references that I was using of the character. So yeah, that does the digital stuff. Let's move on to the sketches. Yeah, so once again, a lot of these are just practices I did on my new tablet, and also, you know, I did them very recently because I noticed that my deadline was coming up, and so yeah, I drew this picture of Eve laughing for no reason really, other than I needed some sketches to show you. So yeah, I'm not going to pretend that I had these all prepared and well in advance. But yeah, I had a good time drawing this one. I didn't spend that much time with it, as you can probably tell. But I'm getting more, because I'm thinking more about what my characters look like as a complete drawing, because I draw my characters a lot from like the waist up. So I was quite brave here. I decided to go for the full body, and yeah, because I sometimes struggle with making characters stand in a kind of normal kind of way. So yeah, this one doesn't look too bad. I think maybe house right leg is a little bit off. It looks like it's a little bit too high up to me. But yeah, I think I'm liking the designs for the clothing. I think her outfit works pretty well. Because I mean, I don't really know anything about clothing, but yeah, I've sort of kept it simple. This is obviously a pre-sketch. I don't know if I'm gonna move on with it, but I've thought about things like, I mean, because the thing I always have to remember with Eve is that she has a tattoo. I don't know if you can see it on one of her arms. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I think this is a good pre-sketch because, as I say, I didn't spend very long on it, and you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to spend a long time on the pre-sketches. And I think I put in all the important stuff on this one. So I think this is actually a good example of how far you have to go when you're doing a pre-sketch. And once again, you need to click on that. See, it's not... If the thing is inactive and I can't move on, I don't know if that makes sense. So now we have some drawings of Dane. And yeah, so I think these all are just practices I did. Sorry, don't know what happened there. I'm just gonna have a sip of coffee. Hang on. Yeah, me. I'm trying to keep my vocal cords warmed up. Yeah, Dane is a commander, and yeah, I haven't fully worked out what it is that her role is. She's because she's from the Light Years Apart universe again. Yeah, and what I know is that she's this very kind of self-righteous character who believes that she is a hero, And to her, that is more important than actually helping people and actually doing what is right. She wants to be seen as a hero. That's what she cares about the most. And yeah, because I think, like a lot of my characters, I wanted to draw a character that had a certain outfit. It's funny how the outfits seem to determine exactly how. That's usually my starting point. What kind of clothing do they wear? Because I like this sort of futuristic battle armor, but it's also I think I've tried to make it like an Iron Man suit because it's supposed to be able to fly, and it's like a rocket suit. And yeah, I've shown a picture of her previously, and again, it's one of those characters I've not really worked on an awful lot. These drawings don't look too good because I drew them really small and then just enlarged them for the video. But yeah, so armor is tricky, and once again, I think I'm just trying to make sure that I'm drawing all the important stuff. I think, the thing that annoys me is that I'll draw like a design for a suit like this, and then I'll see someone else who did a similar drawing. I'll be like, that's what I was trying to do. So I think that in many ways I need to hold on to these sketches because I'm probably going to think about who's doing it better. But when that time comes, I need to have something to compare it to and think about, what did I do? And yeah, here's another one. Because I think her forearms, the part that she has around her forearm doesn't quite look right. I think it needs to be more narrow, like tight around the wrist, and maybe sort of come away and have like a more pointed edge at the elbow, something like that. I think that would look quite futuristic. So I'm just making plans now. Yeah. So all of these I've just been drawing from memory because the first colour drawing I did of Dane, I was really happy with because I thought that the design just looked perfect, pretty much. And so I'm sort of challenging myself to see if I can draw it from memory, because when I do that, it helps me to see why it is that references are important. I think that is the best way to understand the importance of references, to see what your work looks like when you draw it from memory and compare it to the ones where you use references. You start to understand what it is that it's actually helping you with. That is a really important thing to know. Yeah, this was just a little practice that I did. My elf character, Bell. So yeah, I have been, because I think when I got my tablet, I was like, I'm gonna just draw some characters that I haven't drawn for a long time. So I think that's what I've ended up doing. I think I've ended up bringing back a lot of the characters that I haven't really given that much attention to. And this didn't take long at all. Once again, just a rough scribble. But I like how this is, because I think not too long ago I started to realise that I love drawing characters. I like to put their mouths nice and close to where their nose and eyes are. So there is like this big gap between the mouth and the chin. That to me is just like, it looks really cute, because the mouth sort of looks almost like a slice, like you're sort of slicing through. You see that line that I drew as a guide. So yeah, that I think that works quite well. And yeah, I am getting into the habit now of actually thinking about the jawline and actually making that an extension of the circle or square that I'm using as the original guide. So yeah, I like to bring back the old characters. And this one is Zola, another one of the cops. And so yeah, this is another example of me thinking in silhouettes and trying to get a pleasing overall shape. Because Zola's quite a cute character. I've recently been debating about whether or not I'm going to redesign her like head and facial features and everything. But I just think she looks really cute this way. And yeah, I think because I've seen so many people draw characters who are kind of similar to what I do, but I just think, oh wow, they've really put so much character into them. And I'm always trying to think, I can never quite put my finger on what it is that I'm not doing. But yeah, I just think this one's quite satisfactory. I think I don't really know what to say about this so much. There are obviously things that need improving, and yeah, but yeah, I'm pleased with the pose because I'm just trying. I don't think I did use a reference for this one, so I was taking a bit of a risk. I was a bit of a risk taker this time around because I do feel it's really important to use references, like practice with references. But sometimes I'm impatient. A lot of the sketches you've seen here, I was in a real hurry to do, as I say. I thought, I'm running out of time. I need to just bash out a few drawings for this video. So yeah, and I like Zola, so hopefully we're going to see more of her. I think this one might be worth colouring in. I think I could probably do a group shot, just have this be part of, like, I can imagine her standing alongside the other characters. That's what this looks like to me. So yeah, maybe maybe I'll do that sometime. Once again, I've done that thing with the mouth. Make sure that there's a lot of space below the mouth. And this is my first sketch of Grantha. So I showed her earlier, and this shows you some of the changes. Because yeah, at this point I was thinking I'm going to give her a hairdo, and I was trying to make it like an alien hairdo. And I don't really know where my mind was going, because quite a lot of time has passed since I drew this. But I think there was a lot about this sketch that I really liked, because when I did the more recent one that you saw that I coloured in, I used a lot of this. I put this one into PureRef. PureRef is a great little application for using reference drawings and things. And yeah, I just had that up on the screen, and yeah, it all just sort of came to me, and I was like, okay, I've a pretty good idea now of what I want to change, what I want to keep the same. I mean, I still haven't settled on. I don't know if what I've got now is going to be the ultimate design, but we'll see. I mean, I like designing characters a lot, and I'm really feeling the passion of doing this type of thing. Yeah, I suppose Undyne from Undertale was definitely a big inspiration for this character. The way I've drawn her head and those kind of fishy-like ears. I thought she's going to have to be blue. I think when I designed her like that, I was like, yeah, once I start drawing the character, I get a bit of an idea of the colour palette from that. Oh yeah, this is Kimmy from Femme Fatale. For those of you who don't know, I'm involved in this cartoon project. We're trying to do like a little web series, possibly, about a group of animals who are in a band. And this is Kimmy. She's the bass player of the group. And because I'm really trying to go for a different way of drawing her. I didn't create Kimmy. As far as I'm aware, my friend Julie, who I've been working on the project with, one of her friends did the original drawing of Kimmy. I've completely forgotten his name. But yeah, so we sort of took the design from that, and yeah, so Julie sort of slightly redesigned Kimmy from that drawing, and so when I draw Kimmy, it's mostly based on the one that Julie did. But I found that I didn't really put a lot of effort into my version, so I've now come up with this design, and I think I've kept all of the essential things, essential details. But I've tried to be a bit more. Tried to put a bit more character into like her hairstyle, or like the sort of Spiky Hedgehog coat that she has. And yeah, I like how I've made her hair kind of messy and kind of wavy this time. And I think it has a bit more of a striking silhouette, I think. I mean, the expression that she has, that's not really, that doesn't really tell you much about the character, because she is a bit more like a sweetheart. She looks a little bit sly here, the way I've drawn that expression. So I think I might use this as a little reference, like her face as a reference for like any more nastier characters that I might be doing. Yeah, so I don't really know what else to say about this. I think I don't often draw eyelashes on characters. I thought I haven't done that for a long time, so I had to go at seeing what the characters look like with eyelashes. Again, I think Kimmy, there's something about eyelashes that make characters look a bit more. I don't know. I think it does almost look like, I think everything about her face here makes it look like she's a very different type of character. So I think that's the one thing that I would change when I start drawing her again. Maybe make her look a bit more friendly and a bit more cheery. Right now, this is a bit of a crude drawing of a character called Babs, and she's also from the Femme Fatale universe. Because one of the band members is a skunk called Peggy. I'm gonna have another sip of coffee. Hang on, my mouth is so dry. So yeah, this is Peggy's sister, Babs. And I like the idea of Babs being like a fitness instructor. And this is definitely not going to be the final design of the character. But as I say, I've been working on hairstyles and things, and I think that's more the kind of hairstyle, because I had a couple of drawings of her that I did previously. But I think I like that hairstyle the most, because I'm a big fan of doing that kind of, so like above the fringe, there's like a declining line that sort of curves downward and sort of reaches the crown. I really rushed this one. I think out of all the stuff you've seen here, this one's the most rushed. But you can get an idea of her, like she's having a nice drink of water and trying to stay healthy, and that's it. Those are all the all the stuff I wanted to show you in this video. Yeah, I've been recording this very early. I think that's why I'm struggling a bit to try and sound interesting. I mean, I'm not really that tired. I made myself a coffee. But thanks for watching. Thanks again for the lovely comment that I got, and I will read more of those if I get them. Any comments that make me feel really, really happy, I'll definitely share in these videos. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Do take care, and I am off to the pub.